Hey Staten Island, this is Healthwish, a conversation about the state of healthcare in the fabulous 5th borough. Our aim is to raise issues, raise awareness, and raise health. Because when we raise health, we raise everyone. Today, from the majestic St. George Theater, we are privileged to share the big stage with one of Staten Island's favorite sons, Mr. Clifford Smith Jr., better known to his legion of fans as Method Man. In today's episode, we're retelling the story of another day of surprises with a special young man named Jonathan, whose greatest wish was to connect with rapper Joyner Lucas. Spoiler alert, how about Joyner Lucas and Robert Downey Jr.? Give a listen.
Surprise! So we had another young man, 15-year-old Jonathan. 15. And Jonathan was suffering from osteosarcoma, a bone cancer. And one of the social workers, told me about Jonathan up on our PEDS unit. I went up to see him. I had an immediate connection with this young man, like after talking to him 5 minutes, him and his mom. And he kept telling me, oh, I love this rapper, Joyner Lucas. I've been trying to get Joyner to send me a video for over a year. And can you help me get Joyner? And I'm like, what does he think I am? Like, I just know rappers like this? I'm like...
Yeah, right, for real.
I'm like, boy. So,
I don't even know Joyner Lucas.
So I'm like, I can't promise you anything. We'll see what we can do. So we had him a week of surprises, and every day we were taking him his favorite foods into the room. So we gave him a game headset so he can play his Xbox and something else. And then he was discharged. But, I was still keeping in touch with mom, just checking in. And then he had his next admission where he was really sick. And I get a call one day, and at that time I'm working in case management. Jonathan is in radiation oncology. He's begging for you to come down. And when I get down there, they're trying to get his measurements for the machine so that they could do the radiation. He is crying in pain, but asking for me. So I go in there and I'm like, Jonathan, you need to calm down. We need to get you still on this table so that they can do the radiation. And he's like, can you get Joyner Lucas?
Wow.
I really want to meet him.
Yeah.
And Joyner Lucas's music is playing in the background. So then the tech tells me, whenever he's here, Joyner Lucas's music is going. Now, mom is crying. I'm a big crybaby too, so I'm definitely crying. And I'm trying to calm him down so he can get this treatment because I just want this kid to live. I want him to make it. They couldn't do the treatment that day. And he's like, can you do whatever you can do? I'm like, I'm trying, Jonathan. So I get back to the team. I'm like, listen, you are all young women. You all have Instagrams. Get on your phones and start messaging him. And I'm like, he's got to answer. And finally, we get an answer. He calls one of the girls back.
Nice.
And says, I saw your message about this young man. So she tells him, she gives me his manager's number, and she's like, Claudette's gonna call you. So I call the manager. He's like, Joyner's going to be in New York because he lives in Massachusetts. He'll be in New York for something he's doing, and he'll come to the hospital.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh boy, I can't even believe we did this. So we're like, we gotta set up a surprise for Jonathan, like a huge surprise. And I knew he loved the Avengers movie. So I'm like, okay guys, we're gonna screen the Avengers movie in the Regina McGinn, the auditorium. We'll have food, we'll have popcorn. Like this can be movie night for him and his family.
Dope.
They've suffered so much with his illness.
It was really nice.
We've got to do this, and we got to make it as special as possible for them. They can just chill out. This is a long movie. They can just take their minds off of everything he's going through. So we had that plan, and now Joyner's coming with his entourage, and we go into the room, and I'm like, Jonathan, I told you I had another surprise for you. And in walks Joyner.
Wow.
What's up, John? What's up, brother? How you doing, man? You good?
Did his face light up?
I think he was shocked.
Shocked.
He was
like,
right.
yeah.
That's
like,
what Bryson gave me. It
like,
was,
are you joking? Like his mother, the family was crying. Like,
wow.
You pulled this off. And I'm like, I don't even believe I pulled it off. Like, I'm in shock.
I don't want to cry. It's all love, brother. Love you, man.
And Joyner came on Tuesday,
Yeah.
spent time with Jonathan, talked to him, gave him a bunch of stuff.
yeah.
The most touching part about that visit, I'm just getting a little worked up, I'm sorry.
You good?
I'm just still so connected to him. And this was the time. It happened in December. It was right before Christmas. Being a nurse, you want to save everybody, right?
Can't
and
save
I
everybody.
couldn't save him. I couldn't prevent that finality from happening to him.
But I think sadly the reality was with that diagnosis, it's never, you know, you did everything you could for him. And I know because I followed that case and with his diagnosis, I mean.
I know.
And you do, you know, listen, sometimes I think the difference between the first one and the second one in terms of what we do for a living is the first kid, he was already at the point where we knew what the outcome was going to be.
Right.
And I think with this young man, we still had that small shred of hope that something was going to work, even though if you logically look back as a nurse or a doctor and say, okay, what were his chances? They're small.
Right.
Real small.
Right.
But you were still at the point where he was, you know, there was still some kind of chance. And for you, listen, the only problem with doing this kind of work is
Connection.
you do develop connections with these people and these families. Yeah. And then if it doesn't go the way you really want it to go, it hurts.
It does. It does. It
Right?
does.
But it's an indication of who you are that you do it again, knowing there's a good chance you're going to get hurt again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. So
Right.
Joyner had this beaded necklace around his neck.
That's right.
And he was like, oh, you know, Jonathan, my 3-year-old son made this for me in preschool. And he goes and he starts taking it off. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, this is not happening right now. Like, no.
Yeah.
My son had made me this chain right here, man. And I haven't took it off since he gave it to me. This chain means a lot to me, man. I wanted to give it to you, man. It's like yeah, man, I wanted you to have this, man. Let's see if you can put you set up.
And he puts it on Jonathan. There was not a dry eye in the room at that point.
Yeah, for Joyner Lucas.
Jonathan was so ecstatic. So I asked Joyner, I said, can you do me a favor? We're doing this Avengers movie tomorrow. Can you just do a little video for Jonathan so when the movie comes on, he has the videos.
Yo, what's up, Jonathan, man? This is Joyner. I just wanted to say, man, I hope you have a great day today. It was beautiful seeing you yesterday, man, and definitely inspirational, and changed my life just as much as yours. And you know, you're about to watch a dope movie, so I hope you like it. And much love, respect from me to you.
We have Jonathan come to the Regina again, and I have to give a shout out to my son Marquise. He was off that day, and he came into work. He said, because I'll transport Jonathan for you down to the Regina again. And he always helps me with my day of surprises. So then we took him into the auditorium and he watched the Avengers. But of course I had another surprise for Jonathan. So at the very end, and this was like last minute, we got this. Robert Downey Jr. has sent Jonathan a video. So at the end of the movie, we played the video from our DJ. and everyone went crazy.
Hey, Jonathan. What'd you think of that? That was nutty, wasn't it? Well, I'm still here, and so are you. But heck of a movie. Anyway, I've been thinking about you, and send me back a video. Tell me what you thought. Will you? All right, pal. Love you 3,000.
I didn't even expect that. Like, that was really caught me off of a surprise. That was really cool. I didn't expect RDJ to shout me out.
It was just like, this was so magical. Joyner Lucas came the day before. Like, the stars were just all aligned, and it was, for me, like, I'm supposed to be doing this. Like, this is it. This is what I have to do for people. And Jonathan was happy. He was speechless, basically. He said, I never even expected this.
RDJ is who we thought he was, man.
Right.
Robert Downey Jr. is who we thought he was, man.
Yes.
He is Iron Man, man.
Yeah.
When I heard it, I was like, wow,
That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
That is, and I've seen other footage of things that he's done as far as sick kids and charity work and things of that nature, man. It's not rare, but it's hard to find. It's not rare, but it's pretty hard to find. Such a stand-up guy. And Joyner Lucas, salute. I expected that from Joyner, though. Seriously.
And you know what the funny thing about it? I told him about Bryson and how you came to visit. And he said, you had Method Man here? He's my favorite rapper.
I wanted you to go say hello to him.
Whatever.
So now my mind is going, oh, I gotta get these two guys together.
For me, I would suggest anybody that's in the business that I'm in, you know, how we see the glamour and glitz all the time. Just give yourself some time to do some kind of work like this. It is so fulfilling. You have no idea, like, it's not even you doing something for this person. It's this person doing something for you in the same breath. And I would recommend to everybody do some kind of philanthropic work. Did I pronounce that right?
You did.
And
Philanthropic.
You know the funny thing is, before every day of surprises, we had our saying. We would say, okay, you know, we're doing God's work before every day of surprises. So I started saying it, and then the team started just saying it. We're doing God's work. We're doing, like, we know we have to do this. This is something expected of us.
Nice.
And some of them are not celebrities coming.
Some of them don't ask for much.
Some of them are just giving a person likes a blueberry muffin.
Yeah.
You give them the blueberry muffin.
It is so happy
you know,
with that.
a crocheted blanket by one of the nurses, but it's touching that person and making that patient feel like they're the most important person in the hospital that day.
Yeah.
And that's what it does. And it does that for the patients, and it does it for the families.
Next time, pun intended, we'll wrap our conversation with Staten Island recording artist, songwriter, actor, and legend Method Man, and talk about pathways to better health, better jobs, and a better community. Healthwish wishes to thank our very special guests, Clifford Method Man Smith Jr. and Administrative Director of Community Health, Claudette Hill. Thanks for watching Healthwish. We hope to see you again soon.